Wild Weather Floods by Julie Murray. Let's look at the table of contents. Floods, kinds of floods, flood protection, more facts, glossary, index, online resources. Floods. Floods can be deadly. They often happen with little warning. Floods occur all over the world. They affect hundreds of thousands of people each year. It means that you see all the water. It covers half of the house. So a lot of time we don't know when it happens, when it's going to rain so hard that it will flood lots and lots of houses. So that's what it means by little warning. Floods can be very powerful, you see. The raging waters can carry cars, houses, and people away. So raging water means the water moves very forcefully and violently, that is so powerful that it could even move a car. Okay, it is dangerous to drive through flooded streets. Cars can be swept away in as little as 2 feet of water. It will say road closed when there's a flood. Floods are caused by an overflow of water. This happens when there is too much water for the ground to absorb. So when there's a flood, there's a lot of water for the ground. And the word absorb, what it means is when something that is soak up. Okay, so you can't soak up. There's so much water that the ground can't soak it all up. Heavy rain or melting snow can cause floods. Floods also occur from storms that make sea levels rise, like a hurricane. Kinds of floods. There is fluvial flood, coastal flood, flash flood. Fluvial flood, coastal flood, flash flood. There are 3 kinds of floods: fluvial, coastal, and flash. Rivers that overflow cause fluvial floods. When there's an overflow of water in the river, that is called fluvial flood. This usually happens from large amounts of rain or melting snow. The water level rises and overflows the river banks. So when there's so much water that the edge of the river is when the water goes up to the edge of the river. Coastal floods are caused by a rise in sea level. This usually happens from a storm like a hurricane. The rise in sea level is caused by a storm surge. A strong winds push the water inland. This causes flooding along the coastline. So the ocean, the water pushes towards the land, and this is what we call coastal floods. Flash floods happen quickly. There's usually very little warning. They are caused by heavy rains, or a break in a dam, or a levee. Most flood deaths occur from flash floods. So if we have a lot of rain, that could cause flash floods. If we have the dam that is broken, the water will come into the water flood all the way to lots of roads and block the roads. That is also called flash floods. Flood protection. There are ways to protect areas from flooding. Levees are large mounds of dirt. So this is how the city built something like this, so that they put lots and lots of dirt on it so the water would not go to spread all the way to land or houses. They can be man-made or occur naturally. See, this is what they use as well. They help keep rising water at bay. So if there's lots of water, it keeps the water from going up. Many cities build flood walls. These are artificial walls that protect large areas from rising water. Sandbags work well to protect smaller areas. Some people put sandbags around their homes. Getting to higher ground is important in floods. Many coastal cities have evacuation routes. These routes are the quickest way to safer ground. Be sure to have a plan in case a flood happens in your area. It could save your life. The word evacuation means when the city is flooded, then they have people that will come and rescue you, firefighters, the people that work for the city. And then the word evacuation means people have to leave their homes. The word flood comes from an English word. It means a flowing of water, river, or sea. Floods cause around $6 billion in damage in the U.S. each year. So the Hurricane Katrina in 2005 caused $81 billion in damage. It was responsible for 1,833 deaths. This many people died, and about 80% of New Orleans was flooded. Floods.